Well, welcome Tanner and Samuel to the podcast. I appreciate you both taking the time to sit down and chat with me.
Oh,
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. I didn't know who was going first, but apparently both of us at the same time.
Yep. Well, we're both going to be learning. As I said a bit off camera, this is going to be the first time I have a duo on for the podcast, which is exciting in that regard. And we'll see how that goes today. So, but kind of in your own words, I mean, I guess starting with Tanner and then going over to Sam, explain yourselves in your own words, and I'll have a bit of an intro in the beginning, but in your own words to the audience, kind of explain who you are, and yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it.
All right. Well, I'm Tanner, also known as Tanman266. I formed Blue Flame Studios in about 2011, became a amateur machinima director, starting to learn Blender, and I did some Source on the side, and that's pretty much it for me.
I'm Sam. I go by Last Man these days. I had a channel that I was working on before I joined up with Tanner on Blue Flame, but that was like ages ago. I've been with Tanner on Blue Flame since his channel hit about 1,000 subs, and that's when we started working collectively. We had a third guy, but he fell off, and so it's just been me and Tanner as a duo doing all the content on the channel.
So I guess I want to start out. How did you guys have both been working together and know each other for coming up on a decade, it feels like, based on what I've looked at. So how did you both meet, and what started this content creation journey and friendship between the both of you?
That's actually kind of funny, because I have no idea how we met.
It's a topic we've talked about a lot.
I don't know if he met me. I met him through who's now like one of my closer friends. I think we just met through gaming, and then
I think I've kind of mostly figured it out. But I met a friend of ours. He goes by Hishimaru. He helps with body acting and stuff, and some voice acting on the side. Met through him, and I met William, who was the third guy who started with us. And then I met Tanner through them. I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's how we met. But through William and Tanner is when I started jumping in and helping with the videos and stuff.
Yeah, because William, he had his own channel, William as well. He had a zombie machinima called Rapture, which was pretty good. It was just him on his own. I helped body act with that for a little bit, and then eventually Will and I became friends, and he helped me make my first machinima, RDA, Reach Detective Agency. I didn't have a capture card or anything. I just wrote the script, and I helped body act it, and then he filmed and edited it for me. The first 2 episodes, and then I got my own capture card, and then I kind of took over.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so, kind of to understand the timeline a bit, because you said, Sam, that you joined about 1,000 subscribers on the Blue Flame Studios channel, which now it's gone off and it's over 17,000 subscribers, which congrats to you both.
Right.
And
thanks.
So how is that? So when you started looking at your guys' history, I've seen like there's a couple times where, Sam, you've posted on the Blue Flame channel, but then also posted on Last Man the same upload. Talk to me about, like, of course we'll talk about the old Legacy Too Damn Cold series, but also like Halo Foxtrot 6 Touchdown and a couple other videos. Was it more of a way to show your own content on your own channel? Was it a way to split audience since you were both separate, or how did that kind of transpire to when you fully went into Blue Flame?
I can answer that if you don't really know, Sam.
I know. I was just the way that I was kind of testing the waters, see if like, oh, will this do good on my own, or will it do better on the channel? And some of the stuff I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be a quality upload or not, and I don't know if it's like, is this something I want to put on Blue Flame? But most of the stuff I kind of figured, yeah, we need content on Blue Flame, so I uploaded there.
Yeah, during that time, we kind of were at that content drought, and I think I was stuck at 6,000 subscribers for the longest time, to the point where I'm like, I might just start a new channel altogether, and I temporarily made a channel where I was going to branch off to do some more animations rather than machinima. And that didn't go anywhere, and then I had a video pop off. And then I'm like, nope, screw the new channel. I'm going back full mains on Blue Flame. I gave up the animation channel. So, and then that's kind of where we decided just to completely converge on only uploading on Blue Flame. Because I was gonna make my new animation channel, and Sam was making his new machinima channel. We decided it's hard to get the ball rolling on YouTube these days. Let's just continue with the channel that we already have momentum on.
Especially with our niche community like it is.
Mm-hmm. Which, with niche community, I mean, 17,000 subscribers is a lot for machinima. Like, that's basically, right? for the most time, like, that's mostly like equivalent to 170,000 subscribers in any other community.
We've just been really fortunate with the timing.
Yep. I think what really attributed to our success was when Halo 5, before that came out, we got the ball rolling on Hunt the Truth. We stole that
I was
content.
The first.
And,
yeah. So when Hunt the Truth came out, the night that it came out, before I even listened to it, I saved the audio from the files on the, you inspect element. I saved the audio, I saved the image, I uploaded it to YouTube because I knew it wasn't on YouTube, and I was like, nobody else has uploaded this, I'm gonna be number one. And then I got a shit ton of views, and I was like, let's keep doing this. Because it's bringing in views, it's bringing attention, and
yeah. Bit of a hardball question on that mode. It's just kind of a discussion piece. So Hunt for Truth wasn't necessarily your property. Do you ever get any feedback where or not that it was like, maybe we shouldn't have posted that, maybe this was cheating the system, or do you feel like this was just taking opportunity at the time, no one did it, might as well have taken the opportunity for it?
The way that I looked at it was that it was convenience, because the website wasn't going to be up forever, and some people didn't see it until it was on YouTube, and then they found out about it that way.
Yep. So it was a very odd location. It was like some Tumblr site. So how we saw it, it was preserving the media and making it more accessible to the people. And no, I don't think it was cheating or anything. Plenty of other channels followed suit.
Halo follower.
Yep, they siphoned a lot of our views because once they started uploading, we noticed our views started to dip.
Yeah, started declining.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and we can't monetize it anyways, so it's like.
Yep.
There's no it's kind of a weird thing in the machinima space of what you can monetize and what you can't, and with as much. It's like, what was your relationship with monetization? Is any of your videos monetized? Are you able to make anything like on Too Damn Cold? Or is it kind of like machinima you're not allowed to? Or is the merch kind of the only way that can be profitable? So talk to me about that kind of relationship with YouTube.
I'll start with this because I know because I'm working on Too Damn Cold. But Tanner's going to take over the editing for the next part of the season. But for the monetization of our videos, a lot of music is copyrighted more now than it ever was before, and we've seen a lot of our previous videos, fall under the unmonetizable, red flag, and so we've lost a few, but the newest ones, except for like a few exceptions, they're all monetized because all the music is copyright free and you can monetize it, or it's original pieces from friends or myself.
Yeah, and we always usually have the end user agreement claims saying, "Well, this is property of Bungie, 343, etc., etc."
Yep, disclaimers and everything.
Yeah. So, and I think somewhere they said it's completely fair to monetize and make money out of that stuff because it's all transformative media. We're just taking these assets and making them into our own stories and stuff. As long as we're not stealing anything, we're fine. Which actually brings me up to something that my biggest loss on the whole copyright systems, or I got slapped on the wrist by Warner Brothers because I think you know the story of this. I saw people were remaking Halo Legends episodes in Machinima, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I want to do one. And my favorite shot from the Halo Legends was the duel. So we had so much fun filming that and all that.
Yeah.
So good. And everyone else used the same audio from Halo Legends, but mine got slapped on the wrist.
Yeah.
I got it. It wasn't even demonetized. It was blocked worldwide.
What
And
do
the
you
other
think contributed to that? Was it a more like were you just the most subscribed channel out of that? Did you gain more views, or is it just bad
I
luck
don't
of
even
the
think
draw?
we were that big at that point.
no, we probably had like 4,000 subscribers at that point.
Yeah, I think we were
not
stuck
even.
at 4,000 at that
Wow.
point.
Yep.
It
And
was
plenty
so
of bigger
weird.
channels had because I know there was like the prototype. That was the one that I saw, and that one had a hefty amount of views.
Yeah, I saw Prototype. I saw Babysitter. Like they're all part of the same property that's owned by Warner Brothers, but for some reason it was just the duel that was stricken.
I don't know if it's because they did something like cheaty, they pitched or something along those lines, but no, it wasn't. It wasn't because of the music. It was just because it was audio from the film.
Yeah.
So I
Interesting.
if I were smart, I would have taken down the video, saved it, and then dubbed over it. But no, I just completely deleted it.
The biggest mistake we ever make with videos.
I
Yep.
do think what's interesting with I don't know if you guys have noticed this with Machinima, but like back in 2010, 2012 days when you guys like are nearly starting out, a lot of people like Evan Royalty and Arbiter, it's a lot of copyrighted assets. It's a lot of Two Steps from Hell. It's a lot of Man of
yep,
Steel
that-
OST. It's it's the Halo soundtrack in every single shot that comes in.
Dude, yeah, Island of the Dead Part 1. If I hadn't used that fucking
God.
song, I could have made so much money off of that video.
Minecraft zombie noises.
Oh, yeah, shut
Black
up.
Ops zombie noises.
Oh, that's
But
a
now
blessing
there's so
and a
much
curse.
that it's almost transformed this market completely differently because while we have a lot more fewer people in this market, we now have things like Epidemic Sound. We have like composers who are willing to work with Machinima creators. And so what is your view basically looking back, like especially for you, Tanner, who did Island of the Dead and Land of the Dead and used a lot of copyrighted music then? How do you view on it now, and do you think you guys are going to be more pushing into the original composing market even rather than royalty free, so then you can take full credit of those assets?
Well, it really depends. Like, when I was doing that, I was like 13, 14 years old. I didn't have a job. I didn't have crap. I was working in my parents' basement just with some friends. But now
Yeah,
I
no
have a
funds.
full-time job, and I have money to spare. So if I wanted to pay for animations, voice actors, and music, I definitely have that route now. But for now, I'm gonna just kind of be a cheapskate and use whatever royalty-free music I can. But what really sucks?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Halo tracks used to not really be
Oh,
registered
yeah.
by Content ID, but now they are.
Up
So-
till recently, yeah.
Yeah.
Just recently, they started striking down Halo music. It's a real bummer because you could make some pretty good machinimas and really nail it with the Halo theme.
Mhm.
There has really been a transition between the Bungie and the 343 era. And I like the Bungie era, it really was pretty much we had as much rights as possible.
Yeah.
And slowly with 343, though we have given, and I'm not trying to dog on 343 here,
Yeah.
but slowly there's been less involved in like as basic as weapon luring to having Forge to be able to do things. And now the music problem, I've seen that pop up a lot more recently. And so it definitely is interesting, and I do wonder how much this Halo Machinima market will keep pushing forward, because it's not necessarily the marketing juggernaut for Halo as it was, but do you, in your guys' opinion, do you think that is more so with like we're not as popular and our community is less popular, or do you attribute it to that we're just not given the tools in the game soon enough, and so people are walking away from it? And so it's basically we're both not feeding on each other and we're both failing because of it.
I think I think it's the part of the YouTube algorithm is that gaming content used to be pushed so hard into recommended, but now they even tried to separate gaming content from YouTube entirely with YouTube Gaming. But I think it's just YouTube's been saturated with so many other types of videos now that I think we're kind of just pushed down under the weight of every other type of video. And Machinima as a company, that went down the drain, and there's no big platform to promote users under a millions and millions of subscribed channel. I really think that's what's killing us.
Go back to the whole 343 versus Bungie thing. I feel like Bungie, 343 is both pro and against Machinima at the same time. They give us all these like tools, but they're also limited and broken. Like such as like the weapon lowering. That should have been, and theater was broken and infinite and all that. They gave us Machinima mode, which that was also cool.
Yeah. The thoughts are there, but they lack the resources and the time to, update and fix the things. It's not their highest priority. Their highest priority is keep people playing the game.
And I do understand that, because they do need to make quotas. They need to make the game profitable. Yeah. And I think a lot of us weren't necessarily, like, even back with Halo Infinite and we having to pay for so much armor and armor coatings, I think a lot of people aren't necessarily as hateful towards that. We just want things working.
Yeah.
And I think back under Halo 3 and Halo Reach, everything worked, from the Forge to the theater to everything worked perfectly.
Halo 4 even.
Halo 4 even, it was able to do that, but there was a lot of... It basically cut Halo Reach in half about what was able to be done. And I think Dan Renko's on Lazy Bunch is the only person who can make that game worthwhile. But
I know it's hard to do a Reach Machinima because it feels so milked at this point.
Yep. And I think when Halo Infinite finds a way to bring in its AI, campaign AI, into customs, I think that's going to be a game changer. Because we no longer need those playable elites. It's gonna be some tricky, but I think it's some cool stuff is gonna come around when we have campaign AI. Because even if we get like Marines and background characters, I think would be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost going back to the days of having 4 controllers or 8 controllers and 2 Xboxes trying to control these characters.
Don't even get me started.
One director now has so much more ability with having bots and having a possibility of AI.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The biggest issue for us right now is our body acting situation. When we had our first incarnation of, I guess it would be the second. It would be our Sidewinder Chronicles, not Too Damn Cold at the time.
Yeah. Sidewinder version 1.
It was just us two controlling all the characters, and what sucked more about it just being us two, nothing seemed to work when we wanted it to. Whenever we'd be playing games together, everything would be fine, but the moment we would try to make a Machinima, we'd have communication issues. Party chat would break, and
party chat was a huge problem when Xbox One came out. It never worked. We had to use
Skype
to
resort to Skype. Yep. Discord didn't exist either, so...
Yeah.
Go back on TeamSpeak. But it's definitely... interesting how everything has transpired with Machinima, because we used to get a lot more views on Machinimas.
Oh yeah.
And I think one attribute to that is really Blue Flame Studios' entire claim to fame, which is the Island of the Dead and the Land of the Dead, which I was just doing rough numbers just to kind of see, and I think this is fascinating. The Island of the Dead series has gained close to 660,000 views collectively, half of that just being on part 1, with the sequel series Land of the Dead gaining over 138,000 views respectively. Like, that's insane numbers, and to see like anything close to that today is like a fever dream.
Yeah.
And,
well, to be fair, I think what attributes to that is that A, it's old, and B, that would have been around the time when shows like The Walking Dead first kind of came popular.
Zombie
so that was
hype.
the fad. Zombies were the fad. Zombies were the hype.
It's all about trends.
Yeah, it's all about
yeah,
trends.
but I mean,
and
there's
again,
always been. Yeah, you can go.
Yeah, again, you can also look at Nightmare Films, which I think you had an interview with.
I haven't yet. I haven't had the
you
pleasure.
haven't. Okay, never mind. We had some fake beef. We had some beef because I posted my first episode of Island of the Dead first, and when I made Island of the Dead Part 1, I think, well, actually episodes 1 through 4. I think 4 is when I actually, or 5. 5 I actually got access to Premiere Pro because William was sharing his Creative Cloud. I made Island of the Dead Parts 1 through 4 on ArcSoft Showbiz, an editing software so shit that a dead raccoon is more reliable for me. I would have to sit and edit videos in one setting because saving a project would crash it.
ArcSoft Shoebox.
ArcSoft Shoebox, yep. And I remember I had just finished, I think it was part 4. I pressed export and the fucking thing crashed. It crashed and I did not have any of my progress, and it sucked.
But yeah, back to the beef, the fake beef.
Oh,
when,
yeah.
Yeah, you tell him.
Yeah, so I posted it whatever May 2013, I want to say. I don't know. And then Nightmare posts his. He's like either like 3-4 months later, and it gained a lot more. Running Dead, yeah, it gained so much more traction, and there was people on my side and people on his side saying that we were copying each other. And or it's like people would say, well, it was mostly on my side, people saying that I was copying Running Dead, and I'm like, oh, well, actually no, I posted first. we came out first. I think he was a bigger channel at the time too, so he had that. But then apparently people started harassing Nightmare, saying that he copied me.
And he's probably like, who the hell is this?
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny. So
yeah,
we always made fun that we have beef with Nightmare, but I've never
real drama.
No real
never
drama.
Met him.
Never met him. I haven't even seen The Running Dead. I've just.
It's very
Running
similar
Dead,
to
the
Walking
first
Dead.
episode got 1.2 million views, I think, last time I checked.
God,
that was one of the few videos that like gained over 1 million views in the Machinima community, which is crazy. And I do think, and the reason I brought up those numbers is because there are tons of zombie Machinimas out there. I mean, I think you guys probably remembered like the Left Behind Halo Machinima series that was based off the game. They had a couple parts of that. I forget which channel did it, but then like most recently, like Dead Silent from the Last Second Films crew, which is a phenomenal zombie Machinima series, but they're only gaining like maybe 5,000 views of video. And so with that attribute of it being old, I think it's just fascinating how something that you did on a shitty piece of equipment has gained so many views because of that time period.
Yeah.
And right now we're in a part where I think Machinima is the highest quality it's ever been. And we have the lowest viewership it has ever been. And it's honestly, it's kind of a sad thing, honestly, to look at, but I feel like it's in a weird way has brought a lot of the people in the community a lot closer and a lot more connected because we've been almost so desperate for body actors, desperate for voice talent.
Yeah,
that we're
because
in
I remember being in those big sessions with a Rise of the Spartans, having like 16 people in a lobby, and I'm like,
Yeah,
that
Arbiter and
that was
Digital
yeah,
Virus.
Digital Virus, all the golden age of Machinima. That was a very interesting time. That's when people were begging to body act, and now
I know.
people just want to voice act. No one wants to body
I
act.
used to be like, "Hey, you guys want a body act?" I would hijack a custom game session. I was like, "Hey, you guys want to help me with my video?" And they all be like, "Yeah." And then like 5 years later, I'd be like, "Hey, you guys want to help me with my video?" And then like 8 people leave.
It was and it is true because like back then I was working on a series, Machinima Simulator, which was getting a whole bunch of directors to play themselves. And I was able to get like almost every director who was playing in it, like Infinite Light and Megalodon and just you name the person, and they were body acting themselves in the session. And whenever they weren't, I was getting 16 player sessions every single game, and I was a nobody. I had 50 subscribers on my channel at the time, and I was just working with these people that I knew. And so it's a tribute to the time with now that I feel like I know a lot more people and more included. But me and my the co-director that I work with is like scrambling for body actors, or we're writing a script where you only need 3 people in a scene.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
take it, it's been we gained a lot more ability with like chroma keying, so we're able to like add background characters and things, but like to spend all the time to also do that is a whole another piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, we had that thing where it's like it's just us two, so we're just gonna write scripts where it's just
Sidewinder,
us two.
Sidewinder Chronicles. So the version after the original Too Damn Cold. Sidewinder Chronicles version 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think there's 4. No, maybe 3. There's 3 versions of that one on the Halo 5. That was all just 2 of us or 1 of us cutting back and forth between shots.
Yeah,
so many
we
sessions.
We did chroma key some people, and yeah. I started writing scripts that would just be the 2 of us. That's when we try to do our kind of our sitcom phase, where it would be we had our Simon Tam thing, our PB and J, and then
we had to shrink our ideas down very very tight.
Yep. Yeah, and then I tried to reboot RDA again. We do a lot of reboots.
Yeah, when we realized when we couldn't we tried like 3 times with Sidewinder Chronicles. We realized we're gonna have to try something else. So that's when we jumped into the animation phase.
And so with the animation phase, I like you guys have mentioned Blender. You guys have there's of course your Foxtrot 6 bit, which also the Rendezvous that was abandoned.
Yeah.
Is the SFM side of your guys's content creation and your vision something that is you want to explore more? And I know you guys have incorporated a little bit into Too Damn Cold, but is it something you ever go back to with doing full animated, like I guess machinimas or that type of content, or is it something that you just don't have time for, or it's not a passion for you like it used to be?
Well, see, the first fully animated video that we did was Standoff, and that was just a Halo SFM short that I did 5 years ago, and that was just I just threw something together. There's a Western set for SFM, and I just used all the preset animations that SFM came with, and I just loaded it onto each character, and then I set them up, and I was like, hey, Tanner, do some lines, and he did all the lines for all the characters except for the red guy, and then we ended it, and that was it. That one didn't get a lot of views, but that was our first animated one. But when we did that, I had a lot of free time because I was in high school.
Yep. And then I don't remember which would have been the next fully
Static
animated.
Noises too.
Static Noises too, yeah. Which was our Robot Chicken kind of machinima skit thing. We had an entire skit document. We're like, haha, that's kind of funny, and we do it. A lot of it's also like incorrect quote stuff from other shows.
Yeah.
And then
we come up with a funny joke and we throw it on the script.
Yep. And then I did my first kind of not feature length, but it was like a 20 some minute SFM Destiny video, which was based on some of the lore Grimoire cards in the
A jagged
games.
purpose.
Yeah, a jagged purpose. So that was my first. That was like a kind of out of the frying pan into the fire kind of thing. I learned as I go. It was my first ever time touching SFM, and it was just a complete learning experience. And I had a lot of fun with that. Looking back, I definitely could have done a lot things better. But it's actually funny. I have my aunt is friends with someone who is head of animation at Disney. And so I posted the video. I was real proud of it. I showed my parents. They start sharing it between the family, and yeah, my aunt sends it to this Disney animation director, and I'm so embarrassed because like in hindsight is 2020. This thing is it's not shit, but it could be a lot better. It's definitely
beginner level.
It's very beginner level, and the only remarks that they conveyed to my aunt, who conveyed it to me, it's pretty good for someone with no training. So there's that.
That's a backwards compliment if I've ever heard one.
Backhanded compliment.
But I mean, I don't know how else you would respond, I guess. So I mean, good on them for responding.
Yeah,
But
I mean, there's so like it's the whole thing where your parents don't know there's 100 other people who can do this and do it better.
Yeah.
So,
but you're the only one they know that can do it at all.
can't do it at all. Yeah. So, and then going back to that, right now I'm working on the second part to Kerberos, which was part of or not Machinima contest, but it was the experiment. That's the one.
Yeah.
By Grumpy.
Experiment number 2.
So that's the one where we had a Google Doc, wrote a bunch of scripts. I ended up really liking my idea, and the experiment was like we were supposed to build off of each other's scene. That didn't happen.
No,
Or the two people that did build off my scene didn't make theirs at all. So
mine was a swimming school commercial for Spartans.
Yep. And I built off of his because that's just a TV show that the one insurrection character was watching.
Yeah.
But I'm like I like this concept. I'm gonna work more with it. And I started writing, and I'm like, yeah, this doesn't seem realistic that I can do. I'll need like a 16 lobby of people. So I'm just gonna try to do this in Blender. So I ripped Boneyard from Reach into Blender, so I set all that up, and I'm gonna try to do it full animation, or I'm gonna just put bits of animation to it. I haven't. The one thing that's making me think not to do a blend is getting the lighting right. But I do plan to do a full-on Blender animation of that part.
Awesome. I had a follow-up question, but I think you answered it so I'm
it's just
figuring out a way to transfer
animation is just so reliable because you don't have to rely on body actors. You don't have to go back for reshoots. You can just tune things up, fix them up. But
change the lighting.
Change the lighting. And I'm probably gonna hold off onto it. I was looking into the Mokopi by Sony, which is a full body motion capture setup where it's just a bunch of dots, which looks really interesting. So I'm waiting for that to become local because I think it's only available in Japan at the moment.
We have a little bit of experience with motion capture so far.
Yep.
We had it so like we didn't pick up the motion capture until about after let's see. After Static Noises, I think. No. Foxtrot 6 Touchdown is the first thing that we released that's still up on the channel. That's fully, almost nearly fully motion capture.
Well, Jagged Purpose is also fully mocapped. So
yeah, that came out like that came out the same year, but that was a few videos later. But Touchdown. Our motion capture setup. We both have the same one, but he's got fancier, a little bit fancier. But we have the same method. It's using Xbox 360 Connects or Xbox One Connects hooked up to a program,
Interesting.
And it
it's
it
depth
tracks
based
your
motion capture.
limbs. It's very probably the lowest level of motion capture you can get. It tracks your limbs the way that Kinect would, and that's the data it keeps, and then you just basically drag and drop it onto your SFM character, and they move in that way. But you had to do a lot of cleanup, which is why we're talking about upgrading that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because it was full body motion capture, except unless you wanted to dish out like $1,000 for the software. I dished out 300, just for the basic license. You can do the front camera and back camera, because the problem is with depth based motion capture is it can only see what's in front of you. So if you turn around, it loses track of where your limb went. So if you turn to the side. You turn to the left, it loses track of your left arm, and then it spazzes out. And
if you kneel or your leg goes behind your leg, it's like, where did it go? It's lost.
Yep. So
just
that's
the
why
the frog thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking into a more reliable, like the Roku suit. Well, that thing is expensive. That's why I'm happy to know that the Sony Mokopi is only like $300. Compact, lightweight, and I don't know. It looks really cool. I can't wait for it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So with a SFM, you have incorporated it into Too Damn Cold, and with that episode 0, so were you using the Kinect for that ending part? Is that
No.
like what? Okay,
No.
so what was that, a fully animated, just like customly made inside the program using assets? Walk me through like what's the difference between what you've done in the past and when you did that?
Okay,
piece?
So when I started with animation, it was just me using preset animations that were already in the SFM that came with the models. But then Foxtrot 6 was my first step into actually like animating and using motion capture at the same time. Fun fact about Foxtrot 6 Touchdown. I had a broken foot when I was doing the mocap for that, so you could kind of tell at some points I'm wearing a big-ass boot. But for Too Damn Cold, that was all keyframe animation, and you can tell if you look at it too long, or if you look at it, twice, that it's keyframe. It's kind of stiff, but I got all the experience I have with animation is just self-taught, so it's obviously not the best.
So on building off of that, Tanner, you mentioned like the mix of traditional machinima and animation, and why it's kind of difficult is with mixing the lighting. But I think there's also another piece to it, is that sometimes a lot of machinimators are the truest, right? They want to keep into the traditional machinima form, or they want you to stick into the animation form, because a lot of people can see that how there's a not disparity, but it can kind of, in some cases, it can throw you out of it. Like in the original Freelancer series with Red versus Blue, it made sense because it was almost showing two different complete parts
the
of
past
history
versus
So-
the current.
What do you say to that as far as like your reasoning behind episode 0? Do you think that, and in the future when you're using animation and machinima together, do you guys see that as any kind of issue? Do you recognize that, or do you not think that's almost a valid criticism?
Well, I think it's definitely valid. I think what was really in Red vs. Blue, when it did, I think it was like the season after, where they did bits of CG in. It wasn't entire scenes. It was just kind of maybe a composited character. It was jarring because the models didn't exactly look
It's very
the
dated.
same. It's dated, yeah.
You can tell now, but back then on like 480p, it was like, wow, how'd they do that? Is that a mod?
Yeah. Which is why I think it's good to stay with Blender, because that's ripped directly from game. Textures and all that ripped directly from game. So I don't think it matters so long as you. And I'll admit, I don't know how to color correct. I just put a filter on my crap. It's like, yep, that looks good.
colorblind.
I am also colorblind, so that's also very very.
There's
helpful.
been a few points where he's had a tealish colored helmet on the blue Spartan. I'm like, hey, I don't want to crush your creative thinking, but is that the right color?
Yep. No. Certain. What's it called? Durna. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's blues, purples, reds, greens. I can't tell differences against. But
Yeah.
So it makes compositing and color correction kind of difficult for me.
Quite of difficult when your shows are based on colorful people.
Yeah, I was in Blender. I was trying to make Ford and Dr. Lady, and I'm like, which is purple and which is blue?
Oh no.
I couldn't tell. But yeah, that's my my bane.
So
Are we Blue Flame Studios or Purple Flame Studios?
Teal Flame Studios, actually.
Oh, okay.
diving into Too Damn Cold now, with that being kind of you guys' main focus as of right now.
Okay.
You guys
Our
have released
flagship.
10 episodes. Yeah, that's the current flagship. How
Right.
did so with Too Damn Cold? You started with 3 episodes back in 2014, and
Started
then
further back.
it started further back than that.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's a
So
history.
where? So explain to me the history and how this idea spawned into how we are today.
Okay. I've worked this all out in the Discord because people have asked me before, and so I've kind of got it all figured out now. So far back, probably 2012 maybe is when I first got the Dazzle capture card. Yeah. Xbox 360 Halo Reach. I did a little series called Red vs. Blue Cliffside Chronicles, and it was on top of the cliff that's above the Forge World hangar. And there was 4 guys, 2 reds, 2 blues. One was named Jefferson, and one of them is named Cheeto, and I don't remember the other guys' names. And I used a copyrighted song by the Commodores, and I took it down immediately because one of the guys snuck some dirty jokes in there and that I didn't understand because I was only 12. No, I was like 14. But I took that down immediately. But that would be the very first attempt to make the Too Damn Cold series. That's where I would start the story. But after that, I went back and I tried again. Tried with Red versus Blue.
Canyon divided.
I spelled it wrong. Or did I call it Blue versus Red? I think I called it... I don't remember. Red versus Blue, Canyon Divided, but I spelt the title wrong in the video. Divided. And that featured several characters because I actually had a decent group of body actors for that time. And I made one episode, voiced all of the characters myself. And I think I can't remember quite all the names of the characters. There's the Colonel, who is, wait, no, what's that Colonel? No. Shoot, what was his name? He was the orange one. I think they just called him Sarge or something. There was the red and orange guy. There was a solid red guy who I named Stevens. There was a solid blue guy who I named Gunny. There was a guy I named Hunter, who was like the asshole guy, and then a very childish sidekick of his named, oh shoot, what did I name him? Like Muffin or something. And yeah, that was the original team, and that was on Valhalla or Ragnarok in Halo 4. Obviously, you see, that's when nobody wanted to play Halo 4 because there was a lot of backlash against Halo 4 at that time. People went back to playing Halo Reach.
No one wanted to play Halo 4, so we played Halo Wars instead, and that's when we were on the snow map, and we were role-playing as the Marines. And we're like, it's too damn cold out here. And they were like, oh, we should make a machinima out of that. And then
and that's where Too Damn
Cold was born.
Too Damn Cold, as the concept of 2 guys in the cold, was born. And that started back 2013, I think, with the very first episode. And that's, yep.
So what got you guys to, like, of course there had to be a conversation about bringing it back, because that was 8 years, 7 years ago when
8.
you guys,
Yeah.
eight with the original bit is when you guys put out the initial title of Too Damn Cold. And so why bring it back? Why make it your current flagship of the channel?
As a protest to Red versus Blue Zero.
Basically, yeah.
Is there more to that? Is that just is that it? There's just a protest to Zero, because I can totally understand that as well.
Ask Last Man. Last Man would know more than me. I just help him out with it. I helped write it. So.
Yeah, well, you kind of have to understand the whole history of Too Damn Cold to really get into that. We've talked about earlier how it was just me and him, or sometimes just me, making Too Damn Cold in Halo 5. Well, it was called Sidewinder Chronicles in Halo 5. We got up to 9 episodes with that first version, but I didn't like something about it. I think it was just
we ran into voice actor issues.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, we had a voice actor. We had 2 voice actors jump out on us.
The original voice for Benny, and then the voice for the Sergeant
Tyson.
Colonel.
Yeah. And then we were like, okay, well, let's restart that, and we did Sidewinder Chronicles version 2, which is slightly different, but mostly the same. We did 3 episodes of that, and then we rebooted it again, because all the characters looked exactly the same. And so I did Sidewinder Chronicles version 3, which all the characters had different helmets, and that's where the Ford and Benny came back as their original appearances with their ODST and CQB helmets that stuck around. Yeah, so those ones we did solid colors because it made more sense for the red versus blue theme, because people were like, is this in the red versus blue universe or no? I'm like, yeah, it was supposed to be. But we did the same 3 episodes. Each time we rewrote jokes, made it funnier, and did some different gags. So they're all unique in some aspect, but basically copies of each other. And you can watch all those on a playlist in the playlist section. They're all titled. Yeah. So you can watch them on the playlist.
Red vs. Blue is by far the most popular Machinima series to be formed.
Yes.
I mean, it spawned a whole company, and it's been their flagship forever. And there's been a lot of people, as you have said, who have been unhappy with recent seasons of the show.
Yeah.
And there has been many people starting up, trying to create their own side story, create parodies, create reimagines of how they would have done that season.
I've met most of them.
What makes Too Damn Cold different and separate from all of those? And why is this rendition important for it to be seen, for not even just a Red versus Blue fan, but just as a Machinima fan?
I would say it's because we're not trying too hard to be Red versus Blue, but we're still making it feel nostalgic. We're still going for the feeling, while kind of doing our own different kind of story.
Yeah,
I guess.
I know. I've met and I've talked to about almost all of the guys that are making Red versus Blue spin-offs or remakes or inspired shows, and they all have their idea of what they want their series to be. Some of them haven't gotten off the ground yet, but they've got some big aspirations, and I'm just gonna stick with what Rooster Teeth started with, a simple 1 location and 2 teams, and that's the basis. And as the series goes on, we're going to be, so we just finished part 1 of season 1, part 2 season 2. It's mostly all still on the planet Sidewinder, but they go to different locations because Halo 3, my god, that game has 7 ice-themed maps. More than any game in the entire series. 7 ice-themed maps. It is the perfect game to put Too Damn Cold in. And I don't know why the hell we ever thought it was a great idea to put it on Halo 5, but it was just there was a bug where emblems would be random when we tried to do a short in Too Damn Cold years ago, and we were like, we don't really like that, so let's just drop it and do it in Halo 5. But I think I like to keep ours simple. I don't want to jump into the freelancer things too much. Like we've got a freelancer kind of type storyline, but it's not like we're not trying to jump into the main characters of Red versus Blue. We're not trying to jump into their lives and do like background scenes. Like there's events that happen around the same time, but they're isolated.
Yeah, we pay homage to the source material basically, but we don't alter anything, we don't change any timelines, and we don't say that we impacted the sidelines. We just the impacted the main
story
stuff.
In any way.
Yeah. Yep.
So taking a step back and just looking at Too Damn Cold as a completed entity, what are your plans moving forward? What do you want out of this series? Is there an end goal to it? Is there something specific that you want to be done? What do you view about this project? What is most important about this project?
Honestly, I didn't think we'd get past 9 episodes because that's the furthest we've ever made a series, and so I was like, oh wow, we made it past 9. Now now we need a new goal. And I guess
we bear the curse of thinks of new project, tells everybody about project, get bored with the project, start with a new project, and then the cycle continues.
I know.
I'd just be happy if we finished it. I've started so
we've
many
never
series.
finished a project.
We've never finished things. I've started so many things.
How many episodes is finished?
11 episodes total for the current iteration of Too Damn Cold, not including the specials and the shorts. But if you include that, it's like 13 or 14. But for the most part, we've gotten up. We've had 3 episode seasons. We've had 4 episode seasons. We've had 5 almost finished Island of the Dead, but
I've tried so many times to give that a conclusion, but I
made a little joke video. Island of the Dead Part 6 trailer, big red letters and flames in the background, and it was just a guy dancing to the Chaka Run song.
Yeah. No. Season 1 of Too Damn Cold has 20 episodes in total. Or I guess it'd be 21 if you count episode 0. So if we can make to that episode 21, then I'll be satisfied.
Yeah, and kind of backtracking on your point about like Island of the Dead, what has kind of prevented you from continuing that? Because like I know there was a part 4 for Land of the Dead that was in the works for a while.
Well, it was William who was the showrunner of
the Land of the Dead.
Yeah, that was his
William's
project
reboot.
when he was around. That was his reboot of Rapture, which was like the
right.
Rapture is gone because it was on his original channel, and then he nuked it.
Yeah,
for reasons unknown.
So he did a little bit of a reboot for Rapture on White Phoenix Productions, but just kind of
that was our first attempt at a group channel.
Yeah, White Phoenix, and then Tanner's personal channel just blew up, and we're like, let's just kind of scoot all of our things into his basket.
Yep. So it's been a lot of channel migrations. So, as for Island of the Dead, the reason why I haven't finished it, well, first off, you got to remember when I started it, I was like 13, 14. I was in high school. I had schoolwork to do. Right out of high school, I had college, and that like put us into the biggest content drought ever. I went to college for 4 years, and I just couldn't make any content during that time. So I feel like continuing Island of the Dead now, it would just be too long. Who people would be like, what is this? Part 6 of what? Oh wow. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if anybody who subscribed during the Island of the Dead days was still active, because I think a good 1,000, 2,000 of our subscribers are inactive, because our views definitely don't reflect our subscriber count.
Yeah, because everybody subscribes to like.
I mean, hey, Seer
people.
Council Studios came back with another edition of Exodus. You can always come back with another Island of the Dead out of the blue.
I don't know if I can get a bunch of people into. Well, the thing is, I say that I haven't tried in recent day. I have. I've made maps in Master Chief Collection, but I just don't. I don't have the personnel to do it. I don't have the body actors to do what needs to be done, because it was a big cast. I think there was like a good 5 people in the main cast. And I was considering killing some people off. I did kill a character off because it was too big of a cast. I had to make everybody do a costume change in episode 4 because that was a big issue I was running into. Nobody had the armor that the main characters would have. So we had them do a costume change, and then tried to be cheeky and tied into Land of the Dead. We changed their character names. Because, we have to go by these aliases now because we're wanted by the
Tanner voiced a character in Land of the Dead and Island of the Dead.
Yeah, so we're like, it wouldn't be cool if this was the same person. This was just years later. And I'm like,
when we get off the island, we're going to be not on the Island of the Dead. We'll be on the Land of the Dead.
Yep.
I made a machinima way back on my own called City of the Dead before Land of the Dead was a thing, and
yeah.
I joke about it being involved, but it's not.
there was two scripts for parts 6, and then also 2 scripts for completely remastered versions, where I was just gonna do a feature length Island of the Dead, but again, just never got around to it because making a zombie machinima is hard when you don't have people to body act zombies.
Yep, it used to be easy. Not anymore.
Especially when people would spam fucking hologram.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, I don't. People were like, I was like, oh, why don't you want us to spam holograms? Isn't that why you have it? It's like, no, that is so you can get rid of your energy sword. But then people would just run in with energy swords anyways, and
yeah,
it was a mess.
Yeah.
So, my kind of final question to kind of wrap up everything here is, what is next for Blue Flame Studios? Where are you wanting it to head? I mean, with Too Damn Cold starting to wrap up, you talking about your animated short that you're working on, what is the next big project? What are you hoping this channel achieves next?
Well, forever we've been having trouble trying to keep something going. We kind of start it, and then we're like, oh man, I don't have time for this, and we give up. But then Too Damn Cold, I started it up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna push for it. I'm gonna try as hard as I can to get us past that bump, and I got us past that bump. And there's months between uploads sometimes, but I'm just like, I've got nothing else to work on. I don't want to make something new, because then that just look like I'm not accomplishing anything. I feel like I'm not accomplishing anything, so I want to keep going. And so Too Damn Cold is the project for me. Keep on moving towards it, and we just started working on some more of season 1 part 2 today after the winter break. So we're gonna be pushing on more Too Damn Cold for the future. I've already written season 2, but that's probably gonna be a year or 2 into the future, considering how long it took us to get to episode 10 out of all of them.
And then as for me, I kind of have two projects kind of in the go. I have had one that's kind of been in the making. Oh, how long has that been? 5 years in the making? I can't remember when I first did the drafts of it. but what's been holding me back for that one is deciding what medium to do it with. I first considered Halo 5, made the pilot episode, didn't release it. Then I started kind of seeing if I could do it in SFM. Once again, made the pilot episode, didn't release it. Now I was kind of waiting for Infinite. I'm like, do I want to make this in Infinite? Maybe. We'll see how things go in the future. Otherwise, I might also just make that completely animated. And then the other one, which would be Kerberos, the offshoot of the Machinima experiment. That's what I'm kind of primarily working on right now. While I kind of learn how to use Blender, while I also work on Too Damn Cold. So
Yeah, he's gonna be editing Too Damn Cold and directing, basically, because editing and directing about the same thing for most machinimators. Because I have a family, and it takes a lot of time away from them for me to make it my main focus. And so I'm working on body acting, voice acting, and writing. Tanner's got the directing and the editing and the VFX, and that's about where we're at for Too Damn Cold, because I've got a child and they take a lot.
Fair enough. Well, thank you both for taking the time and doing this podcast episode with me. I really appreciate it, and I'm sincerely looking forward to what you have next coming to the channel.
Thanks for having us. Hope we didn't talk over you too much.
No,
yeah, I feel like you were definitely fighting to speak a few times there.
Forgot you were here.
Hey, it's kind of a whole learning experience. As I said, this is the first time I've had two people on, and so balancing this all out, I think it all went over well. Oh, easily. We could have gone for another hour.
Yeah. I definitely had a few things that I wanted to say, but I'm like, we'll keep moving forward.
Yeah.
I know we're on
One important note. We are two people.
Yes.
Blue Flame Studios is not one man. We've had this little confusion with the previous guy, and we made him feel really bad about it, but it wasn't his fault, but it was just a miscommunication. I am Sam, he is Tan.
Yep. Last Man and Tan Man.
Yes, we are two people.
Contrary to popular belief, Last Man is not Mr. Blue Flame Studios.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny. I'm like, I didn't want to be in the video anyways. Of all these cool.
I thought he contacted you. Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that that's two of us working on this together. But
well, to be fair, is your content is being kind of pushed out the most at the moment, so I could kind of see that, and you're the head of the Too Damn Cold Discord. Meanwhile, the Blue Flame Studio Discord is just
collecting cobwebs.
Collecting cobwebs. The only reason why I haven't dismantled it is because of sentimental value and a bunch of cool
conversations and pictures.
I think there is something to that, because like when I first contacted Sam here, it was because I knew of him from Too Damn Cold, and Sam is the main person pushing that project. Mm-hmm. And the more I researched it, I was just like, oh, Too Damn Cold is on Blue Flame Studios. That's interesting. Oh, wait a minute. There's two people working on this channel. Oh, wait, this is the Island of the Dead channel. Oh, wait, this is... And so I went down a rabbit hole, and that's why you were like the second person for me to contact, because this was initially me talking about Too Damn Cold, and then I was just like, oh, there's so much more here to talk about. And
yes.
That was a pleasant surprise.
That's what we had in the initial video. Blue Flame Studios presents in association with... it was like a Last Man Films production.
Last Man Films production, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I started on Last Man Films, and I was like, this might be
he started uploading Too Damn Cold on a timely basis when they got finished. I waited, I think it was 6 episodes, and then I started uploading them on a weekly basis until we exhausted the episodes. So
yeah, and we had a backlog of episodes to upload to Blue Flames. So it seemed like they came out weekly, but they all were already on Last Man if you didn't know about it.
Yeah, except of course I don't know how many views you were pushing, but not as many as they were when they were posted to Blue Flame. So
Yeah.
Well, it is a difference between under 500 subs and 17,000 subs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm at 420, baby.
Well, again, thank you guys so much for spending time working on this podcast with me, and I look forward to seeing what you guys are doing in the future. I know I'm repeating what I said previously because we talked for an extra 4 minutes on top of it.
Yes. 4 more minutes. And 4 more minutes.
Wait, I have more to say. I remember this time when I saw Spearhead, and he
this time that digital virus yelled at Tanner.
yeah. Spearhead actually made me take down one of my videos because I made a music video for one of his fucking songs. Like, it was like back
This is
in
343, and
This is 343. Yeah.
he was like, "It's mean. Please don't. Please take it down." We're like, "Okay," but yeah.
Yep.
All right. We'll stop. We'll cut it off.
The podcast is never gonna end.
Yeah.
Like we're juking out the audience right now.
Yep.
You know?
I'll stop taking tangents.
Yep. Your tan man.
So what? If someone made it through this mess all the way to the end here, what word should they put in the comment section? Something related to your guys' content.
Who are these losers?
Who are these losers? All right,
Make something original.
Well, that's why we put all the blooper reels at the end of the Too Damn Cold episodes.
yeah. Every episode has a little blooper at the end, except from I don't ever put mine in there for some reason. I don't think I have a single one.
No, you.
Well, thank you to the audience for listening to this podcast. Comment something in that regard if you made it this far and made it past
Comments
the 4 different
don't be
endings.
in compu.
Kind words, please. I'm fragile.